So here's my crash course. You ready for this? So it's very simple. You know, you have to know how the machine works in order to be able to um, navigate through it, right? So there's mathematics, and there's physics, and there's quantum, and there's astronomical parameters. But is there anything that links them all together? It's like fine structure constant, where all formulas were put into this one formula and they canceled out all of the non they canceled out all the terms that canceled out. What was left was a 7. Why? Because everything was. And what is the fine structure? Well, it becomes the dynamic between electro and magnetic, and the fact that they arrive exactly at one point. Now, we could say that if you count into the harmonics of things, you will find the second and third harmonic, which the third harmonic being 3 numbers, that's 3 different 2 aspects, like a beat in music. A beat tone is 2 tones that coincide together to create a third tone. The third tone is an amalgamation of the first 2. So therefore, with the third, you get all the information of the first 2. So it's like a harmonic on a guitar, right? If you pluck a string when you're holding the string halfway, you get the half harmonic. This half harmonic is not the source. It's somewhere in between. It's somewhere else, right? It's not at the point of origin. So therefore, that first harmonic is somewhere away from the source. So that is why the second and third harmonic are important. The third harmonic is a result of the first and the second harmonic, or the fundamental and the first harmonic, the half. So the third is a composition of the first 2. So the composition is the 7. If that makes sense, but that's how I see it. So the Riemann is the mathematical formula for it. It is the plus minus. See, there is in mathematics, in complex mathematics, there are 2 terms, only 2 terms, and 0 is what's between the 2. They are harmonics of opposites. They each have a domain of information. So therefore, 2 minds that can actually operate independently of each other, because they are 2 different domains. They cross over on the 0. So that's why there's an alpha mind and an omega mind. But the alpha mind creates the omega mind, the omega mind being the product of the alpha, the 1, the plus. So the beat frequency is the 7, is the center position. It's an anomalous point. There is a point in nature that peaks, it takes off, it vanishes. This is the Higgs point, the Higgs field. And that point lasts only a short while, and it creates a mass, as if it is something at that point. But all it is an expression of energy, and so it keeps firing. It's like whatever you want, but it's particles that are expanding and then annihilating, and it's just a pressure. So what we're talking about, mass, is a pressure. So the Higgs field and that point is a pressure that can lead outside the Earth, outside a cell, outside a body, outside a brain, outside a planet, outside of a black hole. So they're all transmission lines of on 7, the vanishing point. The vanishing point being the 7, the heaven. So that 7 has to be the Z. It's the Z up. The Z up has two polarities. It has the +1, it has the -1. The Z is the 0, and it's the void. It's the wave guide. And a wave guide is a hole. It's a void. It's nothing. It's where waves go. It's waves can react to themselves without body, without any interference of material or charges that are polarized. So it's unpolarized in the center, but it still has harmonics. These harmonics are what resonate the body. The body is the outside. And if you look at it as a tunnel, you look at it as a tube, whatever you like, but it's portals. These portals are just like in high frequency radio, whereas they are holes, vacuum holes, vacuum tunnels. Usually rectangular because there are two portals, and light has two portals of send and receive, just like a crystal has. The C point has an out and an in at that virtual particle, and at that virtual particle, that atom has mirrors up and mirrors down. So the chirality of a crystal means that there is a signal that's going up and a signal that's going down in light transmission. Now, light transmission also is electromagnetic. So electromagnetic is invisible, really. And light, you can't really see light. All you see is the reflection of light or the energy transferred to the body. So the light in itself has no light in itself. It's just a source of energy. It's a whole of energy. Inside that 0 is Planck level. It's almost infinitely small, but it's a resonance, and it's an oscillating resonance, a sine wave, and it's a +1, 0, -1. So that cycle generates mind and body, the two sides of the universe. Alpha Omega is the antithesis of the two worlds, of the two universes. There's the forward universe and the reverse universe. And we're still talking about the half harmonic from the fundamental black hole mind, as our galaxy can expel out to the half resonance as long as it has a beam of light that it can resonate. So the string is a string of light. Now that direction can be pointed exactly at a point somewhere outside of itself. So therefore it can make a beam directly to a point that it knows has radio signal. Let's put it that way. So a radio signal, and if we are electromagnetic, we can detect electromagnetic. So the fact that if Earth is buzzing, well, we will see it buzzing. And that, in that case, Earth may be a central point because it's a radio point. It's just like our own electromagnetic black hole minds. The planet acts as a beacon. It's an antenna. It's like the Lomonosov is a tall crystal tower, and it radiates. So therefore, pinpointing to it would be a cinch from anywhere in the universe, really. So it's a point of light to it. And if you're big enough, if your black hole is like a satellite, you can pick up signal across the universe, pretty much. So the question of when you're in space, you have no interference whatsoever. So if an eye is a galaxy, a universe, a galaxy black hole, then it can see anything, anywhere, and therefore send itself. So it's like Alice in Wonderland, you know, she opened the door and she fell in the hole. So basically that's what we're talking about, that we fall into that hole. It's a gravitational hole, but right at the center there is no gravity. At the North Pole there is no gravity, on both sides of Lomonosov. So gravity goes below the surface of the Earth. So it goes and gets it right from the 0 point. So there are two phases. As you see, the first two dishes that I put up there are basically the dishes. The dish, the satellite dish that will transmit information through a 0 plus minus, right? So because the 0 is essential, it's the space, it's the waveguide, it's the way to go, the way. So the North Pole is the dish, brings in all the information, and there's an input and an output. There's two waves, right? You see two colors in that little dish there. There's a blue and a red, and it says time. So there's two spaces and two times. So what it means is that one time is running one direction and the other one is running the time the other direction. So in effect, we have a push-pull, we have both directions. But that's the harmonics of like an instrument, where you have the midpoint, which is the half harmonic, which is where you pick up the alpha and the omega. It's the half and half. Like if you put your finger in the middle of an instrument with strings, you'll see the wobble of 1/2 and 1/2, like the antenna that I showed earlier. An antenna, dipole antenna, will have waves. So there's two waves. So the two waves are the input wave and the output wave. And that's the Hawkins radiation. And that's why, I call it a black hole, because the parameters of the Earth, which is flat, measures flat, but yet is still a sphere. That means that gravity has warped the Earth so much, or let's just say space-time has warped the surface of the Earth into a sphere, because that's the most mathematical position of something, of energy, that binds together in space, in the zero, whereas the zero is the everything, and it's the nothing, but the energy is the everything. So all the plus and minus are polarities that are electromagnetic on Earth. So it stands to reason, if the old, like Jesus Christ and Buddha and all those people and all those religions, they went to the North Pole and they saw this hole that was going right up into the sky with colors, and there's a tornado in the middle, and they see this and they say, oh, and it's electrical, and and it gives off, plasma, and so what is that? Well, they figured out that it was a hub, like a network hub. That's exactly what they thought. They thought that it was heaven. It was a stairway to heaven, and the columns that they have, what's it called, the tree of life and everything. That is the tree of life, and you cannot avoid this, and it's in all religions, this tree of life. So, that's the Lomonosov, and that's the dish. That's the whole is Earth, and the dish is our ladder. It's our connection. So what's left? So what we're talking about is a platform of electromagnetic fields, and that's what we see, and that's what we get. So everything is related to that, as far as Earth is concerned. Is everything electromagnetic? Well, yes, everything is electromagnetic, because you cannot have a positive and a negative without having a zero, and a zero is the body of the ones and zeros. So if there's many ones and zeros, well, then there's a big body, a big element. And an element can be one thing, like one iron piece, and these can be affected as well. You can have a surface of basic elements and create all kinds of other elements using those elements. They're all harmonics, so therefore everything is electromagnetic. Everything has a resonance, so just vibrate that resonance, and there you go. You've created the body. So the body is a reflection, and so, but like the load has a positive and negative, as well as the source, like a battery, has a positive and negative. So really, the transition between the send and receive is the positive and negative. Positive goes to negative, negative goes to positive. It's a circuit. So really, what we're talking about is a harmonic circuit that transcends the entire universe. And to say that we can point ourselves just like an eye, like the North Pole is an eye. If you look at the image, it's an absolute eye. So really, a galaxy is a black hole is an eye.